So hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Spotlight Podcast, the unofficial podcast for Century 21 sales representatives in Canada, where we discuss the hot topics and important news in the real estate industry. So I'm your host, Linas Kilius, and with me as always is Eryn Richarson.
Hi.
Eryn is a broker and general manager with Century 21 Heritage Group. Eryn has an extensive background in online marketing, technology, and customer service, and I'm the head of business development at the real estate marketing company Homeania. So Eryn, we're podcasting. This is our first official podcast. So how's it feel being how's it feel to be a podcast host?
Yeah, this is neat. That's great.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully everyone will enjoy what we've got to say. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be having a weekly or bi-weekly show. Depends on how things go off the hop. So what you can expect from week to week, like as I mentioned off the top, is that we're going to be talking about real estate topics, specifically those affecting Century 21 real estate agents in Canada, and just kind of going from there. We might have, I'm sure we'll be taking a lot of tangents. We'll be going off the cuff, but we'll see how things go. So before we start, why don't we get a little bit of background about both of us? So Eryn, why don't we start with you? Who are you? What do you do?
Sure. Yeah, no, I was in the retail sector for many years. I managed my first sports store when I was 21 and was in management quite a bit. Sales as well, obviously with retail. I was with National Sports Center and then I got a job with Toys R Us. So I was a director with Toys R Us and still in the sales and management end of things. But going through a full Christmas season with Toys R Us, I figured, you know what? I've always wanted to get into real estate. So now is the time. I figured I looked old enough. I was now 30. So, I didn't look 18 anymore, maybe 20, but I figured at that point in time I'd give real estate a shot. So I started with Century 21, like I said, when I was around 30, 31. And it's been good ever since. I was with the Century 21 brand Heritage Group at a new market, and I started my own team. Myself and Richard Gibb started the home team, and we became the top producing team in the company. And then our owner convinced me to get into management with Century 21 Heritage.
Interesting transition from retail to real estate. I'm sure everyone's got their own kind of story to go along with it. So in terms of me, I'm actually an engineer by trade. I did a lot of software development, kind of going through my schooling. And I started up a company with one of my brothers. We were just kind of a consulting company. We ended up doing a consulting job for Century 21 Heritage, where Eryn said he initially started with Century 21. And we did this marketing program. At the time, it was called the Enhanced Marketing Program. And then what we found was that this consulting job actually turned out to be a pretty profitable business for us. We found we did a pretty good job of it. So we decided to make it a full-time gig. We formed Homeania and kind of went from there. And then, that's pretty much where we've been for the last 7 years or so. So we've been providing the service to Century 21 agents exclusively for the past couple of years. And it's been growing in leaps and bounds as we've been going through. So, that's my story and how I got here anyhow. So Eryn, why did you choose Century 21 over other franchises? Was there a specific reason you went with Century 21 Heritage and Newmarket over anyone else? Did anyone else approach you? Or
I went to about 5 different brokerages in the area, and only 3 out of the 5 actually had the time to sit down, which was surprising to me. The fact that, you'd go in and can I talk to a manager, and nobody would give you a call back. So, well, first of all, Century 21 did call me back. We chatted. The way the program was set up with this brokerage in particular was really good for new agents. Lots of training, tons of training. I knew that I would get the support there. So that was the first thing I was looking for. I didn't, care so much about the split. Half of nothing is still nothing. And I was wanting to make sure that I could make some money, and I didn't care so much what I gave to the brokerage as long as they were pointing me in the right direction. So it wasn't so much about commissions. Obviously, you take that into account, but it was more about the training aspect and the technology. I was heavy into technology, so wanted to make sure they were heading that direction. That was the 2 main reasons why I chose the brand. And of course, Century 21 just being a branded brokerage, that was in the top of my list as well.
You think that other brokerages, if you were coming to them, they'd want to call you back and try and recruit you too, with the emphasis that everyone puts on recruitment and such too. So it's kind of surprising, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah. And our company, we decided to partner with Century 21, and we went exclusively with Century 21 because of the backing support that we actually got from Brian Rushton at corporate. We had a lot of positive reviews and feedback from the offices we were currently with, but we did decide to go exclusively with Century 21 because of just the agents, the brokerages, and then the kind of culture that went along with Century 21. So you left Century 21 for a bit, as I understand, too. So what happened there?
Yeah, well, 5 years in, we, as a team, were approached by a competitor, and it was Keller Williams.
So does that happen a lot, too? Do you get approached frequently?
All the time. Yeah. I mean, of course, everybody wants you to come and work with them, especially when you're now producing commissions and you're, top team in the office and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, other brokerages start to pay attention and they call you. And so we were sort of wined and dine there, and we're actually taken to a few conferences and stuff like that just to see the systems. I'm always open to see what other people are doing, and it was
you get a free meal out of it too, right?
Yeah. And I think Keller Williams coming up from the U.S. As strong as they did, it was interesting because there was a lot of technology involved. There was a lot of systems that they had that were supposed to be the greatest and the best systems coming into the marketplace. So we were a young team, and it was a young company coming up, and we felt that let's see what they have to offer. So we went there for 2 years.
Was it a good experience, or what happened?
Well, you know what, the experience is always good when when you can see what it's like on the other side in another brokerage and learn from that. I just think when it came down to the systems that were in place that they brought on through Keller, a lot of it was American based, and I didn't realize, sometimes you just don't realize how good you have it. We were running around trying to put new systems in place to replace the ones we had with Century 21, and they ended up just not working. And we made a decision as a team that if we were going to go forward, we'd either have to hire an assistant. Assistant's probably about $40,000 a year, or go back to a company that was already set up with the systems so that we didn't have to didn't have to have an assistant do the work that the company was doing for us. So it made sense, and we decided to come back to Century 21.
Okay, so it sounds like it was a little bit of like the kind of support staff, but also you keep mentioning systems too. Are there any specific things that kind of drew you back in particular?
Well, the system, yeah. So when I talk about systems, I'm talking about anything from, who does our feature sheets, who takes the pictures for the photography for the house we're listing, who is going to be, putting together our website for the tour of the listing that we're doing, who is going to be sending out our newsletters, and that takes time and effort for us to do as agents. So one of the things that was just starting up when I left Century 21 was actually the company you started. So it's interesting where it's gone, and the company that you guys created there, Homeania, within the Century 21 system, put into place all the different things along the way when you're going to market a property. For the fee that you charge, it's extremely, I would say, effective. Considering I'm not spending $40,000 a year to have your system, I'm only paying per listing. So,
oh, for sure. Actually, the best man at my wedding, he's at Home Realty now, and he's considering making a move to a more established kind of office, something similar to Century 21, for similar reasons too. He's finding that he's kind of hitting his growth potential, just being more like an independent, and then he could probably benefit a lot from the brokerage services that are provided at full service brokerages like Century 21. So it's interesting to hear that the systems and the structure kind of can pull you back, not only what's offered by Century 21, but by peripheral companies like Homeania, like the company that I represent as well. So,
and I know, Linus, like we don't want to turn this into a commercial for any one particular system or whatnot. And it's good that we're discussing, obviously what Homeania provides at the beginning, just to give a background to let everybody know. But maybe you could go into a little bit of detail on exactly what Homeania is in terms of what they provide. Just to start off things, we're going to be taking this in different directions. This is not going to be a
For
centered on
sure.
Homeania, and I want people to understand that. But at the same time, we're talking about this marketing system that you guys developed, and I'm just a huge fan of it. So I want you to be able to explain it.
For sure. And who's the host here? I'm supposed to be the one kind of, ushering the flow and asking the questions. Well, Homie, I mean, we've kind of briefly touched on it, but what we do at Homeania in particular with this program called the Spotlight Program, which is what this podcast is named after, is we offer a comprehensive marketing package for agents for their listings. We like to call it like an internet marketing strategy for your listings. What we do is we do everything. We take the photographs, we put together great virtual tours, like a responsive website. We've got an advertising strategy that is very comprehensive, and we advertise it all over the web to try and get as much attention on your listing as possible. But I mean, it's great for me to talk about it, but it's probably better to come from someone who's used it a lot more. Like, I mean, I obviously know how the program works and everything, but you're a real estate agent who's used it in the past too. So you've got the real world experience that people can kind of pull from.
And you know what? It's not just a virtual tour company. And when you go to all the, you go to TrebFest or any of the conferences that you go to, whether there's booth setups and different virtual tours for listings, that's not what Spotlight is all about. It's for the agent that doesn't either know or want to have to handle all that online stuff, and they want to look techie and they want to look like they're sharp and have a great listing presence, but also get the leads off the listings, as well as rank high in the Google search to make sure that other portals aren't taking away the business that should be coming to the agent that's listing it is, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah, we've always tried to cover like the spectrum of agents too, from the very like techie side to the ones that have like absolutely no comfort at all with tech at all. Like they're scared to open up computers, and especially like those like more tech phobic types, we work really well with too, because we kind of take care of all that and we understand it all the internet side of things too. So we can kind of take the marketing strategy and implement it for them and give them this kind of solution that they don't have to research and spend the time on as well. We're almost like a personal marketing assistant is the way we like to put it as well.
Right.
So. Yeah, but like you said before, I don't want to listen to a commercial about what we do.
No.
And I do promise we're not going to be talking about this every show. I guess it is kind of appropriate maybe in our first show to talk about it a little bit, especially because it does tie into the Century 21 ecosystem as well, because we are intimately involved with Century 21 now. Because
who is this guy Linas, and what is Homeania?
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know a little bit about me. I'm sure as these podcasts go along, people are going to learn a bit more about me and you as well. So
good.
So Online Office, it's another marketing tool that you have at your disposal as a Century 21 agent. How do you use that, and how do you use it effectively? We've got a lot of different tools available to you. I know some are used quite frequently. Some people are there that people probably don't even know about too. You've been part of a very successful real estate team, and I'm sure you've used a lot of their tools in the past. So what have you found is the most effective? Are there any kind of hidden gems in there too that you don't think agents take enough advantage of? You're in management as well, so you see and train agents every day. So I'm sure you're trying to promote certain things that you think are effective tools that maybe agents don't perceive as effective off the hop. So
and I think every brand has its own let's say technology program that they have, a back end system that'll help the agents with when it comes to either websites, CRM system, any of the marketing online stuff. So with Century 20, it's called Online Office. Online Office provides I really go into about three main things. It does a lot of things, actually. The three main things that you use it for is your CRM system, so your client management retention program. So you're going to put all your clients in there, and you're going to set them up on action plans, they're called, or drip campaigns. Send out all the emails. You can set them up and track the emails, a lot like MailChimp. I think they've taken some technology that's been out in the market that can track, who's opening the messages, who's opening the emails, when they open them, are they blocking them? Is it going to their spam? Trying to figure out, and make sure that you're being able to market effectively from an email perspective from that side. So CRM system. I also use it for my website. I mean, the Online Office website that they give you with Century 21 is is quite good, and it's attractive too. So, and you're proud to have a website that looks good, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess you get the synergy with the century21.ca web domain as well for
Yes.
a little bit of a help in Google search there as well. Do you find you get a lot of leads coming in through the Century 21 website as well?
Tons, a lot of leads. Well, actually, and you know what, it's quite effective from a Google search standpoint, having the power of the brand and the century21.ca. So I'm pretty techie. So throughout my 10 years, I've created many different websites. I host my own sites. I don't just have the Century 21 site, but I do know that if I'm going to put something online and I want it to come up quick on Google, Century 21, my website with Century 21 is where I go to have that happen. And it's just sheer power of the size of the site that allows me to be able to get that content up on Google.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, basically the way that Google works is every web domain like century21.com or .ca has a certain amount of page rank or clout, I guess is another good way to put it as well. And the larger website is like century21.ca or cbc.ca or royalbank.com. Those are all big sites that have a lot of kind of clout associated with them. So they come up very high in Google search. So if you're kind of piggybacking off of that already optimized Google search domain, you're doing pretty good, and it helps quite a bit as opposed to like getting like an ErynRicharson.com, which does help, but it helps a lot more if you also have that kind of backing for the root domain as well. So that's what Eryn's talking about there with
Well put.
Century21.ca.
That's great. Yeah. And then the third thing, they have a storage in there, and I don't know how the other brokerages in Canada are dealing with the storage situation, but it's a fantastic way to share information amongst agents, where you store all your listing presentations. And this is from I'm sort of getting into more of the management end of things, because this is where we manage our systems in order to get the information to the agents, but the agents are also able to store things on their own storage section of the online office to use it for real estate. And when I'm saying storage, it's like your marketing materials, your logos, it could be like I said, a listing presentation on PowerPoint. It could be pictures of the listings that you're putting on there. So it's a nice area to go. It's kind of like cloud. You can talk a little bit what a cloud is if you want.
Yeah, well, no, in general, I mean, I'm not a Century 21 real estate agent, so I don't have access to these online storage, but I do back up everything that I have onto Google Drive, which is a similar kind of service, I guess, but one that's backed by Google that's not integrated with century21.ca, for instance. But yeah, it's great to have important information backed up somewhere. The cloud just means it's on a computer somewhere that's not like in your physical location. It's right. Decentralized. So if your computer ever crashes or like your hard drive fails, you don't ever have to worry about that, right? Because you know where it is. You've always got access to it. You got access to it from any computer you want as well, which is another great thing about the online office, online storage solutions, is that you can access from anywhere. You can access online office too. So right. You can take it from computer to computer very easily as well. Right. Yeah, it's amazing to me how many people I've heard of that have had a hard drive failure or something. They lose everything and they just didn't have any way to recover it. And in some cases, you have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars just to recover that information off of a bad hard drive. Where you can get around that now, just by putting everything and backing it up to the cloud. So
and being able to share it, it's very difficult sometimes to figure. I got to get you that large file, that PowerPoint presentation. Do I put it into an email? I can't do that because maybe it's over the size limit and stuff like that. So to be able to put a large file on there and be able to share it amongst other users within the online office system too.
Yeah, for sure. So do you find a lot of agents use online office regularly too? I know with any sort of like tech platform, one of the biggest problems, especially when you're looking at the real estate agent demographic too, is adoption of services. Like that's one thing that I'm sure everyone, like Century 21 or any of the other franchises would struggle with, is trying to promote and push their services, which would be great, but a lot of people just don't use it for whatever reason.
Yeah,
so do you find
it's interesting that the statistic I heard, if you had 30% of the system using it, so Century 21 Canada, if you had over 30% buy into the system, you're doing very well. And I don't know what the online office buy-in is. I do know from our company's standpoint, the agents that maybe have been around for over 5 years, typically it's harder to get them to try something that has come into place and to replace anything that they had to get maybe 8 years ago. So what I mean is, it's hard to get the agents been with us for a while to retry a system that's been, I guess, it's better now than it was 5 years ago. So the new agents are using it exclusively. I don't know any of the new agents that started. Let's say I've had 60 agents in the last year join us. Out of those 60 agents, I would say the ones that are active are all using the system now.
Yeah, I guess just like anyone, if once you're set in your ways, it's a little bit harder to change.
Harder, yeah.
You try and change my father-in-law, it's like absolutely impossible. He's a certain way and he's never going to change. And I'm sure the same is with the agents have been in the industry for a long time. And it must be tough too for those agents to adapt, especially with just how fast the marketplace changes, especially with the internet over the past couple of decades too. I'm sure a lot of agents have kind of fallen off because of it too, because they've just been set in their ways. So,
but I from where they started with the online office system and where they are now. It's from what I was told from an industry leader, and that was actually right from Rob Vivian, so I don't mind saying who it was. Century 21 has a CRM system in the industry, and probably the only one that he sees actually agents using. So all the other brands across the platforms and everything, their systems. And when I was with Keller, they weren't functionable. I don't know why. It seems to be something that should be something they put a lot of emphasis on. But the one thing I did, I was lucky enough to go to the conference recently, what do they call it? The Chairman's Circle. So I went to the Chairman's Circle where the top brokerages in Canada got together and discussed what's going on with the industry and where Century 21's heading. And when it came to the online office, Century 21 has not only made a commitment in the past for technology, but they're making a huge step forward and to not just continue with what they have, but just to make it that much better. So they're going in a forward direction and even stronger they've done in the past. So I'm really excited to see what they can come up with.
Yeah, same at the conferences I've been to recently too. You can really see that kind of roadmap, and they've got that roadmap, and they have promoted it to the agents and brokerages as well, which is always a good thing to see. They're kind of forward thinking like that, because it can be a situation where you get this technology platform, you can get kind of stuck in a rut with it, right? So it's good to see you constantly have to be iterating on software platforms and making sure you're moving forward.
Yeah.
But so like I've been through a lot of different brokerages too. Like I know you probably have obviously a lot more exposure to the Century 21 Heritage Group, but I work with brokerages all the time, and I see their adoption of online office, and it does seem to kind of reflect the management group that is at that specific office with how much adoption you actually have too. Mm-hmm. Like there's some offices that like seem to not even use online office at all, even from like the management side of things, to mm-hmm. ones more like Heritage or other big offices, especially in the Greater Toronto area where we have a lot of exposure, that use online office very heavily and do rely on it. So I think a lot of it does reflect on like the management groups that you have, the different offices as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think there's always room for improvement. And I think that's where Century 21 has gotten some feedback, is that, this is what we have. This is what we like to see going forward. And these are the little things here that maybe we can improve on. And they're open to the idea of improving, which is incredible. They're not closed door. I mean, when I was at this conference, the owners of the company were sitting right there listening to everything and saying, listen, we want to improve. This is what we're going to do going forward, which is another huge, I told you why I joined Century 21 from the beginning, but why do I stay? It's because of the family atmosphere. It's the fact that it's a branded brokerage. It's not owned by accountants and lawyers and et cetera, et cetera. It's owned by a family of individuals that care about the agents and where the company's going forward, not so much just about the bottom line too, right?
No, for sure. And that's always important when you're moving forward with the brand and everything as well. Mm. So just kind of wrapping up with our discussion about online office then, if there was one feature that you think you'd suggest an agent to use that they may never have used before, what would it be? Would it be the drip campaigns, like the CRM stuff, or is there anything else that you might suggest instead? If you had one thing to try?
I think what I would point them towards is the marketing center. Sending out emails. You can send out general emails. There's the templates that are in there. You can set up your own templates too. And then there's also something called action plans. And it's the action plans that I'm all about automation, right? We talk about systems. Systems are great, but if you're having to do the system, it's not much of a system. It's got to be done for you. So they allow you to set up action plans. And I'm not just talking about something spammy. right? So I've set up some action plans within the online office system that are specific to, let's say, a value proposition. So instead of just sending out a week or a monthly email, for example, with a newsletter or something, which are still fantastic that are in there, but I'd rather see the agent set something up that's of value. So the first month, for example, an email would go out for the brick discount, right? So you're given 300 of your ex-clients or clients or whatever is on your sphere of influence an email that's all about the brick and their discount. So you're giving them something of value. You're getting them contractor pricing. The next, and I wouldn't do it monthly. I'd do it every other month. So I've set it up as an action plan that every other month they get this sort of discount, right? I think one of them's a paint discount with Dulux paint. Another one's Air Miles. Another one, it keeps going through. There's about 12 different good discounts. So setting up a drip campaign or an action plan to send out those little reminders to people that you're in the business and that you can give them something of value, this comes across a lot less spammy.
So just backing up a second, you keep talking about all these discounts. Where are they? How are these discounts offered? Is that through Century 21 or is it something you've set up personally?
So actually, we have our own as well. We have some on top of it, but Century 21 has already set up these discounts and the templates for the discounts in the online office system. So if you go into the marketing center, they're already there for you, which is fantastic. It takes you 5 minutes to set up a drip campaign for the year on these discounts.
Yeah. So whenever you get any discounts for the brick or anything, just send them my way too. Maybe you can set me up on your drip campaign.
You know what?
That doesn't sound so bad.
One is fantastic. I used it on the weekend. Actually sent an email, so they've got the discount, who to call, and all that kind of stuff. I sent an email to the lady I was supposed to contact for these sofa and love seat on the weekend, and I think they retail for $1,300 each. So $1,300. I sent the email off, and she gave me a contractor price of about $750 a piece. So it's quite the discount. And it was fantastic.
Huh. Yeah, because whenever I get emails, just those generic like promotional emails, not just from real estate, just from anyone, I almost always just don't even open them and just kind of archive them in my inbox. So it's it must be a difficult thing to get people to open it and kind of read the email or stay in touch with you through these drip campaigns as well. I imagine that's probably a very difficult thing to overcome. And I guess you do see the statistics for how many people actually open them too. So I guess it's important. You probably know what is more successful. And I'm guessing you're saying that these discount promotional kind of pieces, these value propositions are the ones that are the most successful then, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that the best thing about the system is that you can see it's measurable. I always promote to the agents in our office that emails are 30% effective. I mean, when anybody sends out an email, when I send out an email, whether or not it's the brick discount, if it's a brick discount, maybe I'll get upwards of 40%. If it's just a generic one, it's 25%. If it's decent, it's 30%. But on average, all my emails, I know that it's only 30% really get opened. The rest of them, people either don't open or they delete. So you're looking at an email system being about 30% effective. So maybe in a future podcast, we can talk a little bit about how to market to people that it is not necessarily a drip campaign, because I think that's a good backup and a nice thing to have, but it's definitely not the first thing you should do from a personal relations standpoint and lead generation.
Yeah, for sure. And as we move forward through this podcast series, we're going to be talking about all sorts of different things. And it's kind of tough because we're already getting on a tangent now that we weren't expecting to go on. So you never know what you're really going to talk about on any given week until you actually start talking about it too. Mm-hmm. So. Okay, well, maybe we could just talk about one or two more things quickly. How about social media? Since we're talking about web presence and everything too, do you use social media, or do you have any suggestions for agents that might be looking at boosting their social media presence at all, like say on Facebook, Twitter, those kinds of things?
Yeah, do you have another hour? I went to a lot of different things on social media, and yes, I mean, social media it's just another way to network, and you have to be careful. I mean, the reality is you got to be careful with social media. You can't rely on it 100% unless you're doing something incredible and amazing, you get all the leads in the world. But the reality is, most it's just another way to communicate amongst people that you either know or know you, or just stay in contact.
Sphere of influence.
Sphere of influence. That's it. So yeah, and then you can take it to the next level. I mean, people just think about Facebook. That's the first thing that people think about. And Facebook, and as an industry, people are saying, Facebook's kind of had its time, hasn't it? And there's new stuff, and Pinterest, and, LinkedIn has become, pretty popular, and all this, Periscope and all these sort of things. And it's fun. and it could be a bit of a hobby when it comes to, for some people, but you've got to be careful, and you can't be spending 8 hours a day on social media and expect to be getting business.
Well, it is a rabbit hole. Like you said, you can kind of fall down it pretty easily because it is a more entertaining. It's a lot better than door knocking when you're trying to find leads and stuff and kind of develop that kind of sphere of influence and everything. So,
gosh, there's even companies out there you pay that they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't know if I'm all about automation. So, hey, if somebody wants to post on my behalf, and as long as it's good content, okay, maybe that's great. Maybe that's okay. That's all you need, just to stay relevant and people see your name a lot. But it's the personal connection. So the person that's posting on your behalf, are they also being able to interact and reply, and are they doing it on your behalf? You got to be careful with that sort of stuff. So it's something you have to be careful with. You have to build an action plan that revolves around something that should be done properly, right?
Oh, for sure. And it's not just about posting things to social media too. You have to interact with the community as well. So if you're trying to build a rapport with your clients, you can't just keep posting stuff. You have to reply to their comments and then try and kind of create that conversation as well.
And then there's the whole next level. So now you got social media in terms of communicating with people that know you and your sphere of influence. The next level is, the pay-per-click stuff, the stuff that people are getting into now. I was into 5 years ago and trying it out and all this sort of stuff. I could lead generate maybe 100 leads a day. It cost me $30. It was ridiculous. It was because nobody was doing it. People that were on Facebook were kind of falling into the little traps we have, in terms of, get your free list of this, free list of that. People are a little bit less or more, in tune to what we're doing, trying to, generate leads on there. But there's still some really effective pay-per-click campaigns that you can be doing that cost you a bit of money, but it's a fantastic platform in order to measure some results and get some leads.
So you're talking about pay-per-clicks, are you talking about through Facebook and social media, or are you talking about through Google in particular?
Actually, I prefer Facebook. I've tried Google Ads. Google Ads can be costly, and you get some leads from it. It's great. I prefer Facebook just because you can get a little more creative with the audience, a little bit more with the specifics of the pay-per-click campaign. I mean, I can send out and have first of all, you have to have a landing page so when people click on something, it goes somewhere so you can get the lead. So I'll create a landing page, for example, something I'm offering for newlyweds, for example, somebody who just got engaged. So you can actually go onto Facebook and say, I want to target people from the age of 22 to 30 in Toronto, for example, that have just newly got engaged. So they might be looking for a house, obviously. And you can specifically target them to a page, let's say you're going to show up at their Jack and Jill and run one of their games and make some money for them, or host some sort of event on their behalf to raise money for their wedding, Those are just different creative ideas that you can do with Facebook because you can pinpoint people that just got engaged, right? First-time home buyers.
Yeah, and you find it successful too? Like you actually get people clicking through and following up with you too?
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, that's the best thing about the pay-per-click is you can know exactly the demographic of people that are clicking through. If you're finding more, this ad is, predominantly getting clicks from a female audience between certain ages, you can pinpoint those ages and a female audience, and that way you can run more efficiently. So if you're going to spend $100, you're going to get more clicks. The more clicks, the cheaper per click. So it's on a bidding basis. So it really gets involved in some of those specifics, but it's very, very powerful. Yeah.
And I guess one of the important things is that you have a bit of a strategy for it too. Like you were mentioning, you have like these targeted events and things that you're trying to work with, not just, come check out my, real estate information page or whatever on Eryn Richarson. Mm-hmm. You actually have something to kind of pull people in, because I'm sure, you could have a lot less successful campaign if you don't have kind of a strategy to turn those clicks or like those viewers into clicks and ultimately into leads too. So,
and there's different campaigns. You just mentioned one there. You can put just a straightforward ad. It's Eryn Richarson's real estate company, or, you're putting your name up there and say, call me if I'm a real estate agent in the area. You got to think about what farming's all about. Farming's all about remembering somebody's name. They do a lot of business in that area that you live in. So you can target that area, put your name on Facebook, and they see your name 5-6 times over the next week on Facebook. it's just as effective, if not more effective, than even sending postcards to the area, and it could be less more cost effective too.
Yeah, I guess too. It's a branding versus like you're trying to get clicks through too. I guess in that situation too, which is
there's different ways.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've been going on for about half an hour now, so maybe we can just call it a show here. What do you think, Eryn? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, it sounds great. I think we'll probably have a lot more content to go forward with too at different weeks. So
yep.
This is great. Yeah.
So we're going to start by doing this every other week, and if it ends up being popular, we're going to switch it to every week. I think, as long as Eryn's available. It's not just going to be me and Eryn too. We're going to get different guests on every week, different people, different real estate agents, real estate brokers, maybe lawyers, accountants. Who knows? As interesting as lawyers and accountants can be, but I'm sure we'll find some interesting folks. So just if you like the show, definitely try and subscribe to us on Stitcher's, iTunes, or wherever you find your podcasts online. And please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on those sites because it really helps. You can watch this and past shows at spotlight.century21.ca/podcast. And if you need to reach us, you can email us anytime at podcast@homeania.com. That's podcast@HOM as in Mary, EN as in Nancy, IA.com. This podcast was brought to you by the Spotlight marketing program that we were talking about earlier. It's an exclusive marketing package available only to Century 21 agents in Canada. Spotlight provides agents with a comprehensive internet marketing strategy for their listings. We provide high-quality HDR photography, stunning HD video tours, cutting-edge responsive website, and an extensive advertising system that will help sell your listings faster, sell them for more money, impress your clients, and generate leads. Find out why so many top agents are using Spotlight by visiting spotlight.century21.ca today. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.